Hey y'all, welcome to Uncle Dan's Front Porch, and I'm just want to tell you right now, gotta get your mind right. That's it, gotta get your mind right, because get your mind right, get your life right. Um, there's this famous evangelist by the name of Paul. He wrote something that said, he says something about taking every thought captive and bringing it to the obedience of Christ. Kind of what I think that means, and hey, I might be wrong, but the way you think and what's really true don't always match. And when your thought processes don't match what's real, you get your life all messed up. So anyway, somewhere else, this same guy, uh, he wrote some verses to a church in the city at that time was named Philippi. I don't know if it still exists or what. I don't really care. Just telling you. And he wrote some verses that I thought were very interesting. And because I'm kind of interested in mental health, yes, I have a degree in psychology. By the way, the official coffee of Uncle Dan's Front Porch happens to be Folgers. It is the best part of waking up. Just saying. So anyway, he wrote these verses, and I've kind of nicknamed them the mental health section of the Bible, and it's because in a few short verses, there's some very important things that help you get your mind right. Now, the first one is kind of interesting. First thing he says is, rejoice always. Now, he says rejoice in the Lord, and that's pretty key, because the foundation of everything that I do needs to be based on God, because He's the only being, the only thing I can count on no matter what else is going on. Listen, you don't know. Tornado might hit your house tomorrow. You don't know. You might get wiped out by a hurricane. You don't know. All kinds of other crazy things can happen. You can't control nothing. You really don't. You just kind of, life happens to you. Only thing you can control is your responses to it, really. So, rejoice in the Lord always is a very key thing, because you can have the worst day of your life, but if you rejoice in the Lord, things look better. So next time you feel like complaining because you don't like something somebody did at work, or your best friend started up some drama, or whatever it could be, come on, people. Life ain't that bad. Not really. Rejoice in the Lord. He's got everything under control. Start making you a list of everything that's positive about the negative situation. I'm telling you, you got a creative mind. Use it. Then he says, by the way, this is Philippians chapter 4, verse 4. Verse 6, he says something very interesting. He says that don't be anxious for anything. Now, try that one, okay? I'm just going to tell you. I hadn't mastered that one yet. But here's the thing. I think more what he's trying to say is, instead of freaking out about everything, worrying about everything. I mean, come on, people. We worry too much about stuff we cannot control. But he says, load up all the things that worry you in your pickup truck. Some of us got enough worries to load a dump truck, so whatever size truck you need, load it up. Sorry about the neighbor and his pickup, but anyway, that's what you just heard. Anywho, load it up, drive on over to God's house, and I just mean this figuratively. I don't mean you have to go to church to do this. I'm just saying, he says, load up all your stuff that you're worried about, dump it off at his place, let him handle it. Here's what it really says. It says, don't be anxious for anything, but in everything with prayer, supplication, with this big long word called Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's something you're supposed to be doing every day, not just, the last Thursday of November. And he says, if you do that, you will have the peace, the kind of peace that will blow your mind. No, the King James does not say that. It says that surpasses all understanding. In other words, it won't make sense to you how much peace you have in the middle of some crazy stuff going on, simply because you've followed God's orders and you're trusting Him to handle everything. You're rejoicing in Him because you know He's got this handled. Yes, part of rejoicing in the Lord is trusting Him to handle all your business. Now, it should be based on the fact that you've seen Him handle your business before, and based on the fact that He's the most powerful being in the universe and has everything that is needed to handle your situation. I mean, He's got some pretty significant power. I mean, when's the last time you ran into somebody besides God that's got enough power, all they had to do is say something and things start appearing? I don't think you have. Just saying, think He's qualified to handle all the things that bother you. Now, what's interesting, this peace that you get helps continue this process of getting your mind right. In other words, you do your part and then He starts doing His. It says, the peace of God that surpasses your understanding will guard your heart and your mind. In other words, He knows you got trouble keeping your mind right and getting it right. So He gives you a peace, and then that peace keeps your mind from going crazy. But you have to start by rejoicing in Him. You have to start by handing all your worries off to Him and giving Him the keys to everything and saying, look, you got this. I'm going to go on about my business. That's true. That's exactly true. That's what you got to do. Now, there's some other things that He tells us in verse 8. He says there's this filter that you need to run all your thoughts through. He says whatever's true, whatever's lovely, whatever is of good report. In other words, you spending all your time sucking up all this negative news, like you know there's a hurricane coming, so you got to watch every little last thing to see what's going on, so you can go, oh my goodness, it's just crazy out there. Look, I'm not knocking you being concerned and about other folks and just being aware about what's going on about you. But if you find your mind going crazy about this stuff, stop feeding it and start focusing on your awesome Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the creator of the universe. Yeah, it's going to help you a whole lot. Come on, people. It's time to get our minds right. This is Uncle Dan on the front porch with some secrets to the good life. Y'all have a blessed Sunday and an awesome week.